So means she's your first drum teacher.
She really was.
It's kind of stupid questions. I have so many.
Sure.
All right.
Hit me.
All right. What kind of music you are surrounded by when you were a kid?
Well, early on, my parents were into a lot of sort of 50s rock and roll.
Can you give me some names?
Yeah, I mean, so Elvis, Little Richard.
Sure.
So there's a lot of that sort of jukebox sort of
Okay.
50s music. And then my father listened to a lot of honky-tonk.
Honky-tonk stuff? Cool.
And my mom sang a lot. She wasn't a professional singer, but she would sing around the house. And she was always playing, you know, all kinds of music.
So means your parents met at the bar or music bar or on a stage or something
They
like that?
met at a dance, actually.
A dance, cool.
But so yeah, I heard a lot of music growing up. We had a jukebox in our basement.
Basement,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So I heard a lot of that music from that era growing up. And then my father was always playing the piano, so I know I just got interested in music at an early age. And my mother actually pointed out on the drum set. She explained to me how the drums worked. So I remember one day, I think it was like Great Balls of Fire. We were sitting around in our living room, and she was playing a record on our record player, and she was showing me I was interested in the drums, you know, where the beat was. And she knew what the bass drum was and what the snare drum was and what the hi-hat was.
That's cool.
And she showed me where the 1 and the 3 on the kick were, and the 2 and the 4 on the snare, and the 8th notes. How she knew this, I'm not sure. But she knew it, and she just had a lot of music in her. She was just really naturally gifted. So she kind of explained it to me, and then when I heard music after that point, I started listening to the different voices of the drums, you know, where the bass drum was, where the hi-hat was, and, you know, a lot of that, you know, rock and roll stuff is.
Sure. So means she's your first drum teacher.
She really was, yeah.
Oh, great.
And then
What's her name actually?
Carol.
Carol. Hi, Carol.
I have some ketchup stains on my shirt.
He has ketchup on his t-shirt. That's cool.
It was clean. But so that was kind of the first introduction to music, you know. My dad playing the piano, my mom with the records. And then when I got a little bit older, my grandmother had John Lennon Imagine, which was his first solo record.
Great. It's like a white-ish. And
yeah, it's just a cloud. It's kind of faded blue, and then there's a cloud, and then in the center.
You have a picture of John Lennon in your house, right?
So he was kind of like the first something, you know, where like it was like the next step, you know, of the music that I heard, and I was like really like blown away by. My grandmother gave me this record. She wasn't into the Beatles. I don't know why. I think there was some hippie stuff maybe left over from the 60s.
Oh, that's a hippie era?
Maybe.
Like a 70s?
And my grandmother, I love her. She was wonderful, but she was, you know, a little bit older generation, old school. And I think the fact that John Lennon was, you know, free love and all that stuff in the early 70s, I don't think she was down with all that. But anyway, she gave me this record, Imagine, and I listened to it, and it, you know,
blew your mind.
It blew my mind.
Oh, nice.
So that was kind of like that first thing that sort of catapulted me into that next level. And then I got a little bit older, and I got into Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
So I heard 100,000, you know 100,000 Years?
You know what, I've got Kiss t-shirts a lot, but I have never been into Kiss yet.
Okay, so Kiss Alive 1 was I think it was released in 75.
It's famous like an iconic live CD, right?
And there was a drum solo on it called 100,000 Years.
Peter Criss?
Yeah, Peter Criss.
Great.
And there was a drum solo, and it was kind of based off a triplet, like almost a jazzy sort of triplet feel. It was like... And there was like this phaser on it, and this effect.
Oh, it's a phase on it? So 70s.
Yeah, it was rad. So I heard that, and he played me this song. I'll never forget it. I was at my cousin's house in Camrose, Alberta, Canada, and he put on 100,000 Years. He goes, "You gotta listen to this drum solo," and it gets to the drum solo part, and it just sounded so amazing. And Paul Stanley was rapping over top of it, and then it was like Kiss, just all about Kiss. And then I had a Kiss band, and then that's when I started playing the drums, like actually physically hitting stuff.
Have you made that?
We put on, we did that too. So we put on Kiss Alive 1 and put the ice cream pails down, and then I had these, like, the first drumsticks I had were like, it was like Lego stick
Lego
with
stick?
the round little mallet on it. on the that I put on the top of the stick, so it was kind of like it was a mallet. So I started playing, like, we would mimic what we heard from Kiss Alive 1, and I was surrounded by all these
How old were you at the time?
I mean, I was probably 8, I guess.
So means
second grade.
Before you officially started playing drums.
Yeah. And then I begged my parents, and then in 77, so about 75 was when I probably started playing on ice cream pails. And then, so that was about 8, and then at 9 I got a guitar.
Before you got drum set?
I started noodling around on the guitar, and I was kind of noodling around on the piano as well at that time. And then I was 10, and Kiss was going to play in Edmonton, which is
your town?
No, I'm from a small town called Innisfail.
Okay.
But north of my town, 2 hours, was a big city.
It's not far.
Called, in those days, 2 hours. Like Edmonton was like
Edmonton.
I have going to Mars. It was so far away. Anyway, I begged my parents to take me to the concert, and I was totally full blown into Kiss at that point. So I went to the Kiss concert in '77, Kiss Love Gun.
Oh, Love Gun.
Kiss Love Gun tour. And I sat 18th row from the front, and
it's pretty nice.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. So I was just watched this concert, and it was like, that was like the moment I knew that's what I'm gonna do. 77. Saw Kiss, blew my mind. I knew that was what I was gonna do forever.
That's great.
And then, excuse me, when I got home that night, not that night, when we got into the car after the concert, I started begging my parents for a drum set.
Sure. And what they said?
So the whole ride, 2-hour ride home,
drum set.
Oh, you guys got to get me the drum set. I love it because I was already playing, and I knew a lot of how it was, like a lot of those songs, how to play them. I just didn't have a drum set to actually play them on. So my birthday rolled around. It was actually shortly thereafter the concert was July, I believe. So in August, it was like a month later. I was begging my parents, and they're like, "No, you're gonna just get the drums, and you're gonna play them for a week, and then they're gonna end up in the closet, like all your other toys." Sure. I was like, "No, Mom, it's different this time. Really, this is something I can't even explain my love for this thing." So my birthday rolled around, and they brought me into the basement, and there was a 5-piece Maxwin drum set.
Maxwin?
You remember Maxwin? It was like a really cheap, like
from United States.
And it was made in Taiwan, but they were knocked off the cheap pearl. Of the 70s.
Cool. Do you still have that drum set?
Unfortunately, I don't. I wish I did.
Yeah, you sold it?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't remember like what happened. I remember I bought some concert. I got the kit. And then I saved up $200 or what it was, $180, which is like kind of a lot of money.
Sure, for kid, right?
Yeah.
For teenager.
And I bought the concert toms, which were the concert toms in the
single
70s,
head?
Single head. And then I had like 2 more toms. So I had like oh
yeah.
Do that.
Sure.
And then I started getting other cymbals because the kit came with those little cheap cymbals, and then I got like some Zildjian cymbals, some Zildjian hi-hats, and a Ludwig Ghost pedal. I remember was my first pedal. Because the kit, the bass drum pedals that comes in those kits.
Is it before Speed King?
No, it was after Speed King.
Okay.
It was kind of like a mid-70s invention, the Ghost pedal. It had a coil spring in it. Kind of funky design.
It's called Ghost?
A Ludwig Ghost pedal. You'll have to Google it. It's funny. But it had 2 like sort of cylinders on the side, and inside those cylinders was this wound up kind of coil spring.
Okay.
Coil spring that would, it would tighten up as you moved the beater towards the head, and then it would, the energy would release and it would pull back the beater. But it was like supposed to be the fastest pedal back in those days. Although the Speed King pedal was an amazing pedal. So I'll just a funny little story. After the Kiss thing, I heard Led Zeppelin, I heard John Bonham, and that just changed everything.
Sure.
So then I was all about John Bonham. It was John Bonham, and then I went through a lot of other phases. Rock drummer Terry Bozzio. It was Alex Van Halen. I was into Phil Rudd. I was totally into the Rush.